AJ here with ProLine. Let's take a look at ProLine's lead source tracking capabilities. So when you're adding a project into ProLine manually, say if someone calls in, you can actually set that lead source as you're creating the project and the contact for that lead. And depending on what the contact type is, that might be required. It's not required for all contact types, but usually for your main contact type for customers, it would be a required field to choose that lead source when you're creating the lead as a project. These lead sources are completely customizable to your company. So if you want to change any of these names or add new ones, you're free to do so. These are just the defaults that we load in automatically for every company. Same thing if you're just creating a contact but not a project, you can do that here, and you can set that lead source as you're creating a contact on its own without adding a project yet. Now, all the other ways that you can enter projects or leads into ProLine as a system also have lead source as a item you can set. So for example, if you're using our web leads integration in order to bring in leads from your website or other landing pages, you can add that lead source as a parameter here when you're creating your webhook to use for that. For Roof Quote Pro, you can set that lead source as it comes in. For Angie, you can set that lead source. And then for any other lead sources that aren't covered by these other integrations, you can connect those to ProLine through Zapier, and you can choose that lead source for the incoming project as it's being created by that lead source via Zapier. Now, that covers how we set lead source as it comes into the system. Let's take a look at how that is then used for reporting. So if we go to business reports, if we go to any of these, and not a ton of data here in this demo account, but if I go back in time, should be able to pull some stuff up. So when we are looking at these reports, we can set lead sources. If we want to look at all lead sources, we can leave it blank. If we want to look at just a set number of lead sources, we can do that, and then it will filter down these results based on the source of the lead. And so that allows us to determine, okay, from these lead sources, we collected X amount of money. And so that then is able to inform decision-making about what to move forward with as far as marketing goes. And you can actually filter this down also into sales. So you can look at for certain lead sources. And this, again, does not have a ton of data in this demo. If we go back in time enough, we may have to remove that to actually get it to pull anything in for the demo. But you are able to see for certain lead sources, if you go in here and select certain lead sources, you can see the breakdown of the amount of the contract value, the won value, your gross profit margin, your close rate. So you can not only see how much money you made from each lead source, but also that breakdown of how easy was it to sell those leads, whether those leads higher quality than from other lead sources. And so that can also factor into your decision making around what marketing to double down on. And then even for cash flow, you can go all the way down to what was my actual cash flow from certain lead sources. And so that is lead source in ProLine. And we're constantly improving all of these analytics and these reporting. We're currently looking at expanding this reporting and adding a lot of really cool graphs and stuff to make it a little bit more visually engaging. We have all the essentials here, but we are quickly working to make this even more powerful. And balancing that out with simplicity, because we want to make it, we strongly believe that simple gets used, and what gets used is actually the best. So we're always looking to keep things simple and accessible, but also powerful at the same time.